better get ready. Oh no. Oh, oh, oh.
Welcome to Qadash Farm, where we believe that preparation is the key to reparations. Well, today we're going to talk about executing the plan. This is a continued version. So now that you have chosen whether to have a realtor or whether to find the property yourself, now we need to look at what kind of property will you be looking for in detail. Well, today I want to talk about some things you're definitely going to need when you choose the right property for you and your family. One thing you should think about first is proximity to emergency services. Fire, ambulance, police. How long will it take for them to arrive if there's an emergency on your property? It is very important that you plan that out when choosing the property location you want to live in. 15 minutes, even in a busy city, 15 minutes or more could be the difference between life or death. This is just me speaking. Anything outside of 15 minutes, you're talking about possible traffic issues, maybe airlift issues, maybe not getting there in time to resolve the emergency. When you choose a property, think about the proximity to emergency services. The second thing you want to think about is crime. Who are the criminals in the area? What are the major crimes in the area? And how do those crimes impact the location you will live in? It's very important. What's going on around you? Are there sex offenders in your area? Very important. How far you are from city and how close you are to criminal activity. Those things are very important, and you would definitely need to consult someone locally, maybe a chamber of commerce, maybe just go to the police office and just talk to people. Maybe walk through the local grocery store, mom and pop, even Walmart. Just talk to the locals to find out what's going on in that area. Number 3, you need to visit the location multiple times during the day, during the afternoon, and definitely at night. Before you choose a location and before you move there, you need to visit the location at multiple times, and if possible, during multiple climate changes. Visit when it's sunny, and then visit when it rains to see what the land looks like, see what's going on the property. Visit your property as many times as possible. So when speaking about visiting a property, you got to think about how far that property is from where you currently live, and whether or not you can get off work or choosing to go on the weekend, will you have access to that property? Because you definitely want to not only be there on the weekend, you want to see what goes on throughout the week. Let's talk about something else. When you're picking your property, how much traffic do you want driving by your property? Do you want something off the beaten path, or you don't mind having something on a 2-lane highway, some FM road? You don't really care about traffic coming through, long as your property is kind of off that road, right? You have to drive, quarter mile, have a lane, maybe 200-300 yards away from the road. Maybe that would be ideal. Or do you want a property where it's twisting and turning hills? You have a lot of forestry between you and the visibility of people seeing your property. Maybe that's important. Thinking about how close you are to major roads. Then again, that goes back to accessibility for emergency services. Another thing, now that you're picking a property, what kind of zoning do you have on the property? I know that was very key to us, because when you think about making changes to the property, maybe moving grandma on the property or family members on the property, the type of zoning is very important, whether there is any zoning or whether you'll need permits. Do you have to go to the county? How far you are from the city would determine the jurisdiction of the type of permits you would need to build on your land or make changes on your land. Very, very important that you find out if there's any restrictions, if there's any HOAs. I'll give you an example. One property that we were looking at in the Waxahachie area, the previous owner, he had owned, say, 40 acres of land, and he has split all the acreage up into 10-acre lots. And he had certain stipulations within the deed of, as soon as every 10-acre was occupied, then an HOA would kick in, and then you couldn't make any changes to your property without the majority vote of the other 10 acres. Now, how about that? You go buy 10 acres of land and you think you could build all of these structures and paint your house a certain way and do whatever you want on your property. Come to find out that other residents, your neighbors, have a say-so in what you could do on your property. Definitely something to check into, right? You want to make sure you have your realtor look into the deed to look for any restrictions and zoning. It was very important to us. I'll give you another example. One property we looked at, she had it was like 7-acre property. She had a horse corral and she had all kind of animals out there. Well, come to find out, she was grandfathered in. This city had now changed its agricultural laws. So if we moved into property, we couldn't even have animals out there the same way she did. So they were kind of moving to more suburban type HOA rules from rural. At one point, this property was rural, and then a lot of suburbs and homeowners property started coming in, and then next thing you know, you could no longer have animals. Nobody wanted to hear chickens or sheep or goats, or no one wanted to hear animals. The neighbors were too close for comfort. Now you can't make any changes. So these are things you want to think about when you're buying property. Let's stop right here and let's think about everything that I spoke of. So we got a realtor. The realtor is going to ask you, what are you looking for and what do you want? So this is just part of the things that I would list. And I mean, there's no end to the count. Whatever you want at your property, you want to tell that realtor up front and see if they could get the majority of that initially. You want them to go look for all of these things. You want them to think like you're thinking when they're choosing a list to give you. Well, that's my time today. I thank you for joining me here at Qadash Farm, where we believe that preparation is the key to reparations. You're going to have to get your hands dirty if you move to the country. You're going to have the right mindset, the right purpose. You're going to want to be educated. You may need a realtor if you don't have the skill set to find the properties yourself, or if it's not passed down in the family. But these are just some things that I found on my journey. I hope it's helpful to you. I hope I said something that that you can add to your list of things as you're on your journey. Until we see each other next time, y'all bless.
You gotta get ready. Oh no.